This is a fun game. Easy for me to say fun, but it's a very important game, obviously, for
Yeah.
both clubs. The mindset going into this with tiebreakers on the line, fourth and fifth place, et
Yep.
cetera, et cetera. Just you, and now missing Sabrina, obviously. What becomes critical for you guys to take one here from them?
Look, it's come with the urgency that we need at both ends of the floor. Execute our game plan, win the possession game, all the little things where, if they've won two and, our Achilles heels of turning it over and not playing disruptive defense hurt us. And we turned the ball over a little bit when we won in New York, but we found a way, to win. So, these are fun games, where we control our own destiny. And it's been obviously a tough year for both clubs, but we haven't had our full group together. But it is what it is, and excited. I think we just have to put our best foot forward. And Stewie's minutes raised tonight, so that certainly helps as well.
Coach, it's good to see you once again. It's Aya Abdi for the 9450. Alyssa Thomas is having an MVP caliber type of year, and I'm just curious to know, what have you seen from her with this Phoenix team?
Oh, she just keeps getting better and better. She's obviously their point forward. She controls. She's the head of the snake of this team, and AT. Just her toughness, just her IQ, her ability to finish, but get all her other teammates involved as well. She leads the team so well, and to be able to put up the numbers that she does, the triple doubles, is pretty impressive for male or female. So I think she's one of a kind. So obviously she's a key matchup for us, and she certainly should be in the MVP, discussions.
And when we look at a handful of the top teams in the W, I feel like there's commonality as far as actions ran, split actions, if you will. Can you speak to how you see split cuts and the passes and reads made out of that, kind of just keep a team in advantage on offense?
Yeah, look, we do. A lot of all our plays are all the same, so it's more about who executes the best and how do you want to exploit it. And, the split action is widely used. And it's the reads. How are you being defended? The read and react and the next action out of it. So I think AT, she's so good in those pinch actions because her ability to see the whole floor. We've got some pretty good post players that can do too, especially Emma Messerman. I think she does a good job of, moving the ball and finding those open cutters.
What do you think about, I'm Barry Bloom, came out last year, Sporting Cup. What do you think about the fact that the Mercury lost key players from last year and now developed a much more up-tempo style?
Yeah, look, I think Nate and Nick had a vision how they want to play, and they brought in the players that would complement that vision. And when we get a player like Alyssa Thomas, obviously can be, her ability to handle and organise a team. I think that kind of helps them. And obviously. Copper's one of the athletes in this league, and it's been great for so many years. And, Satu, we all know. And I think adding DBs gives them way more depth too. But, they've done a good job. The Makani, has had a really solid year. I think Semi, they've shortened the rotations now, but I think you're finding, which I think is obviously always good for all teams to find that continuity. And but I think they're very intentional. They're not the highest in pace, but they run when they need to and they execute in the half court when they need to.
Could you help us understand, from your vantage point on a day-to-day basis, the importance of having Emma on your team, adding Emma to your team?
Yeah, look, obviously Emma's a great player, and it's always hard to bring any player in halfway through the year, but especially when you have very little time to practice. So, Emma, luckily she has a high IQ. She's learning on the fly through the experiences that she has on the court. I think the hardest part, we had so many players in and out that we could never find that continuity with our rotations, because now, it could be a big lineup, it could be a small lineup. So, and I think, but we're finding solutions. We just need time to get those more experiences. But she was a great addition to our team.
Can you talk a little bit about Stewie coming back her first game?
Yep.
How she performed in your...
Oh, it's great to have her back. She was dearly missed in that. It's everything. People say, "What do you miss?" Well, it's everything. She's the motor of this team. How we want to play. Like AT, we can put the ball in her hands. She can get out and run to and be in the action handling or setting screens and getting to the rim. Her ability to, obviously on defense is amazing. So, we miss so much for her, and overall leadership, I think. There's that confidence when Stewie's out there too. So she was on limited minutes, and I think that was hard too, because we had to okay, you're only allowed to play 3 minutes. Now you're in, you're out, and hard to get into rhythm. So, she'll play a few more extra minutes in the last game. And so hopefully we can continue to build on that as we lead into the playoffs.
Bench is pretty good.
Yeah, no, the bench, and that's what you need. They have their opportunities. They're everyone's valued on this team. I think Izzy Harrison had a great, but they all did. They all came in, Talbot and, Beck Gardner, and they did their job. So we're adding players back in. Now we just got to keep working out those rotations.
Given all the juggling you had to do with some key players and all the minutes, and now you're getting to the final weeks of the season, bottom line, obviously, what's the mentality? What is the strategy as you approach these games? Obviously, you're experienced with it, but
Yeah.
what's that fine balance you've got to strike right about?
Well, yeah, is finding, it'd be great to have all our players back so you could really work on those rotations. And the only way you do that through experiences in the game and what works best, because it can change from game to game, can't it? In terms, our rotations will stay the same, but the teams are different with how they play. For us, it's more about control the controllables, what we can control out there, being a little bit more defensively, just being better all on both ends of the floor, like being more disruptive on the defensive end, making sure we're rebounding. It's been a bit of an issue this year, but I think we're a capable rebounding team. We've got to make sure that's a focus for us. So we win the possession game battle. And then in offense, we want to run. We're our team that has one of the higher pace, but sometimes knowing when to downshift so we're more organized in our attack and when we need to play against a set defense.
Then also, when looking at both of you two in this season series, it feels like with each passing game, you're switching more of each other's actions and living with the cross message. Can you speak to how important having that kind of dynamic about your defense helps to keep your shuttle intact?
Yeah, I mean, versatility is big in this league, isn't it? You've got big players where you can switch and ones you don't want to. And, obviously I don't think they switch probably as much as what we would, but they're very, they know how they want to play and they want to protect the paint. But I think versatility is good. And you see, the more they play together, the better they get. And, I think that's the same thing with us too. It's just getting those experiences. We haven't had as many as what they have because of our injuries, but finding the versatility that we need as we move forward into the playoffs, because the playoffs, anyone can beat anyone, to be quite honest. It's one of the closest leagues here. So, for us, it's more about one game at a time approach and continue to get better so that we're peaking at the right time in the playoffs.
We'll go over to Zoom, starting with Jackie.
Hey, Sandy, I just wanted to follow up on the number when it comes to Stewie's minutes. I believe it was 25 in the last game. So what's that number?
About 28 now. So that's a little increase, and it helps when Tash coming back. We can extend it out a little bit because last game we only had two handlers in Brianna Stewart and Marine Johanna. So it was, and then our main ones, but our Stewie is. So 28 minutes. So excited about that.
For sure. And when it comes to Sabrina's prognosis and sort of what you're seeing and when she could return, I guess, how is she doing? And when do you think that might be a possibility on this road trip?
Yeah, I'm hoping next game, Jackie, to be quite honest. She's improving, but she knows what she can and can't do. So she knows her body really well. So she's making good progress. And we wanted to make sure that when she gets out there, she can go out there and be the Sabrina that we know. So hopefully that will be next game because she's making really good progress, but not enough to go tonight.
And if I could ask one more, I'm sorry about this. I'm just curious what the process and preparation for this game was. It obviously was a quick turnaround, but as we've said during this whole press conference, this is a very important game. So when did you arrive in Phoenix and sort of what preparation were you able to do?
Yeah, look, we had some video before we got on the plane. Then obviously the long flight out here and they got their recovery last night. And then we had a good day of video and, being on court today. So, they'll be with their individual coaches to build it up. Everyone knows how important this is at the pointy end of the season, obviously with the standings. So, I think we're all excited for the game. We know it's, when we're on someone else's home court and they have great home court advantage here. But, we got to be confident in what we do. So we're good to go.
Thank you.
Finish with Jeff.
Thank you. Good evening, Coach. Thank you for taking the time. The second unit this time around is very different from last year's, but how has this group sort of picked up where the last one led off, and how has it created its own winning identity, namely with the additions of players like Isabel Harrison, Kennedy Burke in expanded role, and of course, Marine Johannes and more?
Yeah, no, look, obviously the bench, you can't win without a bench. You need that depth, and they're all different. I think Kennedy's, you saw the improvements she's had from last year for this year. Marine Johannes, she wasn't here last year, but when she's a confident player, she's fun to watch, and even for me on the sidelines, she makes some big plays. And Izzy Harrison, really, we brought her in at that fifth post, and she's had some really big games for us. She's a very reliable post that we trust, so we can put out there. And as you saw in the last game, her ability to get into the paint, but she was making some threes as well last game.
Appreciate your
Thanks,
time and
guys.
insight. Have fun out there tonight.